Endurance Q&A show 51 from a bit of a special location. I am on a balcony where I'm staying just underneath the beautiful Mont Blanc here in the Alps region of France, and it's Dubai weather here at the moment. It's stunning. Been doing some riding, doing some running, and now we're going to be doing some answering of questions. So let's get started before my GoPro overheats, iPad and iPhone all decide to melt down. First question from @Griffo22, and he asks probably quite a common question that we do get, but I want to spend a little bit of time to answer it. Where to start with calorie intake and training for weight loss? Well, typically with a weight loss diet, we look for someone to be within about a 10 to 15% calorie deficit per day to get that initial weight loss undergo until you're down to a weight that you want to be at, and then you look to be in a an equal net place with the calories then. So it might take a month, it might take 6 weeks of being in a deficit to get there. You don't want to be in a deficit every day. On your recovery days or your harder days, you want to be finishing sort of at an equal calorie in, calorie out place, so that make sure your body's recovering if you're training at the same time. But if you're just looking for weight loss, then around a 10 to 15% calorie deficit is the place to be. So in order to do that, you need to then first know where you are sitting on that spectrum. So work out, first of all, how many calories a day you're eating. We suggest you use MyFitnessPal and record everything that you eat on average specifically record everything you eat per day, and then take an average over your week of how many calories you are having per day, and that will give you your daily calorie intake for a week. If you do it for 10 days, it will give you the average daily calorie intake for 10 days. Then work backwards and then sort yourself out with a 10% deficit. So let's say, for example, someone might be eating 3,000 calories a day, which is more of like an athlete's diet and amount of calories they need to eat. Then you would work backwards and have a 300 calorie deficit, aiming for around that. If someone's eating 2,000 and not losing weight, then you pull it back and try and have a 200 calorie deficit. Now that also includes your training calories as well. So that's your total calorie intake for that day. So say your basal metabolic rate, if you can get that measured at a body fat machine or in a sports science lab, you can work out. So say it might be 2,200 as a basal metabolic rate of calories per day, and then you exercise. Well, that exercise counts towards a deficit within that. So if you exercise for say 30 minutes of walking or like running, and it burns you 200 calories, then you know you're going to eat up to 2,000 calories because you've already got that deficit from the exercise. If you're not exercising, you have to find that deficit through diet alone. In terms of training for weight loss, the most important place is to just start and just get training. Like, if you're not doing anything, then doing anything will be better than doing nothing. My advice would be to start slow and start consistent. So just choose something you can do every day. 30 minutes running, walking, 30 minutes cycling, 45 minutes cycling, an hour cycling. Depends what your goals are in terms of exercise, but if it's just for weight loss, just get moving and get active, and then you can start to worry a bit more about what actual types of activity it is that you're doing. Best results I've seen for weight loss is having a predominantly aerobic training protocol, so 3 to 4 days of aerobic intensity that hopefully adds up to around 3 to 3.5 hours total of your week, along with 2 sort of strength bodyweight, one strength bodyweight session and one maybe weight session as well, if you've got good form and good technique and maybe someone there to help you with that. So that would be where I would start. So around a 5 to 6 day training week, along with a 10% calorie deficit. But in order to know that, you need to first of all know where you stand in terms of how many calories you are having on average per day for a week or 10 days. I hope that helps. All right, next question is on treadmills, which obviously do not need one while you're in such a place like this, but if you're sitting in the summer heat of Dubai, you definitely will be using a treadmill. And Kim J. Smith asks, can outdoor running be negatively impacted if you spend the summer on a treadmill? I think it can, it certainly can, if you're just doing, if you're running with poor form, if you're running in the wrong zones, if you're doing the wrong type of interval work, then yes, you can get it really wrong on a treadmill, and when you go back outside you can feel absolutely awful. But if you're doing mixed, varied terrain stuff on a treadmill, using the incline correctly, if you are sticking to your aerobic zones and pushing up onto the interval work when you need to and following selected heart rate zones or pace zones, then no, I think you'll be absolutely fine to get away with it. There's nothing like running outdoors. I think mentally it can be a bit of a challenge, so you might actually gain some mental mental gains, if you like, running on a treadmill, because you have to get your mind to think of other things, whereas when you're running outdoors you've got other things to watch out for, you've got other things to focus on. But yeah, when you're inside you have to really work on listening to yourself and distracting yourself, as it were, in your own head. So then when you go back outside, it can feel like amazing to start running outside again and running around in greenery and hills and everything like that. So no, I don't think it can if you do it correctly. If you're not, and you're just running on the treadmill for the sake of running on it, when you go back outside, yeah, it can feel a little bit weird and maybe negatively impact you, but otherwise not to worry with that one. Next question is another run one, and it's from @CharlieGold10, and he asks, is there such a thing as overpronating and underpronating? Why do running shops try to get you to buy special shoes after testing your gait? Yeah, mate, this is a good question. A lot of people are told they overpronate, which is a way to sell shoes. Your foot's meant to pronate when you are running, and then you're also meant to get a reaction from that pronation, which is how your foot springs off into the next step. And what we're looking for is the foot to land, pronate in, and then take off and almost go into underpronation, or I forgot the name of it now, but yeah, overpronating into underpronation as you're taking off through that, and your big toe leaves the floor there. You can overpronate, but it's almost spending too long in overpronation rather than going too far. A lot of run shoes, once they lose their stability, can knock you into constant pronation as well. A lot of people get wear on the inside of their heel, and then they just find themselves being kept in that pronation too much. But if you're running correctly, you should get some overpronation there. That's how the foot works. That's how it's supposed to spring you into the next step. Why do running shops measure your gait and analyze it and then sell you onto a shoe? That's how they make their money. The more various type of shoes you can have for overpronators, for underpronators, for heel strikers, for forefoot strikers, well, then the more shoes you can sell. Simple as that. So yeah, that's essentially why shops do it, to make money, and that's why that's the answer to can we overpronate or not. How do we fix overpronating too much? It's probably a question you're wondering. Do reactive drills. So skipping is a really good one. The A skips, ankling, ankle drills, anything that gets your foot to react and move off the floor really fast is the way to do that. That is it from me and my balcony here in Mont Blanc. My equipment is melting from the sun here. It is getting really, really hot. So I will see you next week for Q&A show 52. It's 1 year of Q&A shows. Awesome. See you guys.